Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to everyone to our forum entitled Unveiling Best Practices for ESL Teachers Facilitation, brought to you by the Language and Technology Department, English Language Teaching Center, Ministry of Education. I'm thrilled to see so many dedicated English language teachers gathering here today. For your information, this forum is a platform for us to explore, share, and learn from each other's experiences and expertise in facilitating English language learning for our diverse group of students. I am Dr. Lin, and I'll be your moderator for today. Before we begin our forum, please spare a few minutes on some important reminders. Our forum will be conducted in two parts. Discussion with our esteemed speakers, followed by the Q&A session afterwards. If you have any question for our speakers, please type your comments or feedback in the comments section provided in our YouTube Live. Feel free to post your questions and engage in discussions. Our experts are here to provide valuable insights and knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have two distinguished speakers who will contribute to the constructive exchange of ideas for this session. Our first speaker, with over 20 years of experience, Faith Wong is a passionate school improvement coach and EdTech leader. Appointed by the Ministry of Education as a Microsoft Dilemma Influencer or GPGD, she is a sought after presenter on education innovation and integrating technology to transform teaching and learning. Faith is dedicated to equitable, student centered EdTech integration. Welcome, Faith. Glad to have you here with us. Our second speaker, Ms. Putri Azira, is an SIC Plus Bahasa from PPD Kuantan. She is a passionate educator who is also a national master trainer for many English programs and initiatives. Having more than 22 years of teaching experience, her forte is in the use of technology in education, as she materializes it through various programs in improving the quality of English competency among teachers and students as well as community at large. Currently, she has been appointed as a trainer for KPM, Yayasan Pahang, Majlis Ugama Islam Pahang, Jabatan Agama Islam Pahang, and UIA Educare. Glad to have you here with us, Ms. Putri. Ladies and gentlemen, the methods, strategy, and best practices we employ in English language teaching have a significant impact on our students' language acquisition and overall learning experience. In this discussion, we aim to unveil the best practices that have proven effective in ESL teaching. So I would like to pose the first question to Ms. Faith. How can educators ensure that they are using EdTech in an inclusive manner, taking into consideration the digital divide and accessibility issue that the students may have? Um, yes, Ms. Faith, what do you think about this?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Dr. Lin. First, allow me to start off with a quote that encapsulates the heart of effective EdTech integrations from Bill Gates. I'm sure all of us know who Bill Gates is. Gates said, technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is the most important. I think without the quote, we can also concur with the quote, with the fact that while technology is an important tool in education, it is the teacher who ultimately drives students' engagement, motivating the students, and also foster collaborations. While technology offers powerful opportunities, success actually stems from the teacher's skill in leveraging that technology effectively. In other words, the key to effective EdTech integration is an educator who truly understands his or her students, sets very clear learning goals, and uses technology to enhance how those goals are achieved. We must always keep at the forefront the human element, the teachers, making a difference in students' lives each day. We need to think about how technology can serve our teaching rather than replacing it. Or when we put pedagogy first, technology becomes a powerful tool for equity and inclusion. So, as educators, we must be mindful that not all our students have equal access. When I say access, it's not just the tool, it may be the different needs like sight or hearing to the technological playground. So, how can we, as educators in the year 2023, ensure that our use of the educational technology is inclusive, accessible, and bridges divides instead of creating them? So this afternoon, I would like to share 3 points. All right. First and foremost, I think we need to ground EdTech integration into pedagogical frameworks, such as my favorite is TPAC. All right. TPAC framework is the technology integration framework, which identifies three types of knowledge: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge, which a teacher needs to combine. You see, it's not one or the other, but to combine these three knowledge for successful EdTech integration. So we must ask ourselves whether this technology that we are choosing to enhance our teaching, does it help me with teaching of the content in a meaningful way for all the students? Or is there any other options that I can use to teach this particular concept or idea or topic, other types of technology that can address all the diverse needs? So it is more to pedagogical foundations. It's not tech for tech's sake, right? And once we have this guiding principle in thinking about our EdTech enhanced lesson or technology assisted learning, then we need to think about how to leverage these tools to transform learning, not just substituting. You see. So uh, we can use the SAMR framework populated by Dr. Ruben. So this framework actually helps us to evaluate whether the technology that we're choosing is simply just reinforcing old ways of teaching or whether it is truly transforming the student's learning experience. So SAMR framework it shows how technology is substituted, augmented, modified, or redefined for the lessons that we create. The framework actually pictures the incremental level of integration. For example, if we want to teach a writing lesson, we ask the students to type the essays instead of writing using pen and paper. So this is the very basic substitution. So it is just substituting the conventional way of writing with technology. So from the pedagogical perspective, it might not bring much impact. It's not very meaningful in learning, right? But substitution and augmentation have their place, just that ideally we would like to utilize the technology to modify and redefine a task. For example, let's go back to the writing assignment again. If we ask students to co-edit or co-compose, like compose together and a script using Word or Google Docs on a synchronous platform, then we are fostering collaborations and we are encouraging communication. In that sense, we are also redefining the task. It is still writing, but the purpose and the objective of writing has differed from the conventional ones. You see, so by thinking like this, then we can integrate technological tools into our language lessons more meaningfully. And this will bring me to my third point, where the wise integration of technology is really not about the tools themselves, but about how we use them. You see, if you notice, there are thousands of applications that are being released in the market every day. And with the AI and automation exploding, like now in 2023, the growth is exponential. And it is very tempting for the educators, even me myself, to get caught up in every new EdTech toy. I call it a toy, right? For
Mhm.
example, the AR and everything. We are very excited about these toys and tools. But we must always remember as well, a very meaningful lesson does not mean all the hoo-ha and the fun. An engaging lesson is also not necessarily wow from the first second until the last. So what we have in mind is that we need to think whether this technology that we are bringing into the classroom, does it offer equity of access, right? Is this
Yeah.
tool available to all my students? Can all my students afford? Let's just say I want to use the VR goggles. Can all my students afford to have one set, right? And
Mm.
then does the tool that I want to incorporate, does it consider the diverse needs and the abilities of the students? For example, if they are visually challenged or they are hearing, they need assistive uh, tools for hearing. Technology is all about support, but we must find the right support. Yeah. So we need to think who might be left out. So I think my take home message to all of you is this. When we talk about in the process of EdTech integration, we should really ground our tech integration into solid frameworks. Then we need to evaluate whether this integration is truly transformative. And we have to ask ourselves tough questions, ask ourselves very, very tough questions about accessibility. It's not always easy, but together we can work to ensure the EdTech can actually decrease the divides rather than increase them. And we can create classrooms where all the students, I mean all, each one of them, they can play, they can experiment, they can create, and maybe they can discover even more than what we can ever imagine. So it is based on these principles that Kuching district, we work across units and we support the teachers in our district for meaningful edtech integration. So it was a long journey. And in fact, if you, I'll be sharing a very short video after this. It was a
Mhm.
very long journey since like 2021. So, and we are still doing it, right? So we work across units and then we work on developing teachers' technological knowledge. If you remember the TPAC model that I mentioned just now. So we give them the technological knowledge, and then we create platforms for them to discuss and learn in choosing the most suitable edtech integrations for different subjects and topics. We started off with the more crucial subjects like BM, BI, mathematics, science, but our district managed to collect these works and this production, this teachers' production, are shared among teachers throughout the district. So I think this is a better way of helping and supporting our teachers in talking about uh, how to use technology in a more inclusive manner. Of course, we are not discussing about the hardware. Let's just say in the Ulu Sarawak, we don't have a we don't have a tower. That is beyond what educators can do. But educators they still think of ways. Like for example, recently I encountered a teacher. So instead of using devices, she used the paper QR code for
Mm.
quizzes, if I'm not mistaken. So that is also one. She is considering that she cannot have so many devices for them to answer. Like quizzes and Kahoot, we are familiar. You have to press on the device to give the answer. So instead of that, she used a paper code. You see, so this is a very good example of what this question is about. So I think that's all from me. So over to you, Dr. Lin. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much, Faith, for your insightful view. Earlier, you just quote Bill Gates, and it reminds me of another Bill Gates quote, where he mentioned that technology is just a tool and empowering innovative pedagogy and having dedicated teachers are most important. So I think
Yeah.
inclusivity is very important, and Faith has emphasized that in her presentation just now. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So moving along, we would like to pose a question to Miss Putri on how do you think that EdTech can be leveraged to support educator professional networks, fostering collaboration and knowledge sharing? Miss Putri?
Thank you very much, Dr. Lin. I think the question has partially been answered by Miss Faith just now, I think, because she also touched on collaboration. I also have a quote, yeah, technology will never replace great teachers, but in the hands of great teachers, it is transformational, by Josh Kuras. Because again, as you mentioned, Dr. Lin, just now, having dedicated teachers is quite crucial in determining the success of the use of education technology. And to answer the question on how uh, EdTech can be leveraged to support educators' professional networks, I would share some of my experiences because I dare not touch on the theoretical aspect, but more on the application and also how I did it with my teachers. I myself, as a teacher, and a trainer from zero to hero. If you can remember, if you can recall the past 20 years or 10 years back, maybe in 2011, I remembered when Dr. Lin and we were at Melta conference. I mean, at that time, we didn't have smartphones. And it was hard for us to really let our teachers engage in our activities. So most of the time, we really depended on desktop and laptop. I can still recall whereby I had to share my materials using um, pen drive, hard drive. And then we were worried, we were skeptical of having our devices infected with viruses. But the emergence of technology, right now, we have all the clouds. And the world is becoming smaller and smaller. So for me, technology has brought people around the globe in a smaller community whereby we know each other very well. So going back to the question today is on how it can support educators' professional networks. Again, to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing, I would say that the world has becoming borderless. It is becoming smaller, and at the tips of your uh, not now we don't use mouse anymore. We just use voice voice over and also touchscreen. Okay, so with a click of your finger, I think you are able um, to connect yourself with people from the other end of the world. For example, we don't use Skype anymore. I remember last 5 or 6 years, okay, I went into a classroom having a smart board in front of me, and the teacher was teaching English, but using geography as a content with a group of students from Japan via Skype. But nowadays, uh, maybe because of COVID-19, okay, I would say that it is a blessing in disguise for us because we have all these learning bubbles, okay. If you can recall, learning bubbles was so popular during COVID-19, and we made use of a lot of on digital tools because face-to-face classroom was not possible at that time. So going back to the question, what I would like to share today, stemming from PPKBIS, it is one of the programs here uh, by ELTC and KPM, as one of the national trainers, using the approach to cater to the needs. Just now, Faith was mentioning about, you were mentioning about equity. So how do we really cater to the needs, including teachers and students. Okay, so I would say that we use online platform, for example, like Schoology, Google Classroom, okay, Telegram, WhatsApp, just to name a few. Different platforms, different mediums, different apps, for just for the sake of one program. So the approach and experience as I move along from 2014 until now, I learned that I need to do something moving from pedagogical aspect to the application or infusing the use of technology in the approach. So what I did was I came out with my own program, Score A Paya Besar. At that time, during COVID-19, I managed to come out with a learning module so that the students were able to learn how to use all the apps in improving English. But at the same time, uh, I also managed to empower my teachers on how to become reflective teachers in their teaching. So, in a way that they improve their teaching a lot, and in a way that they are looking at the data that they have in their hands and come up with intervention. So, uh, based on this small community, they are actually fostering professional networking and also fostering collaboration. And I myself, for example, this core API Besar, of course, it comes with a great price. Uh, I mean, I had to uh, come up with a paperwork and then persuade someone to fund the program because we need to give some incentive. For example, internet incentive to the B40 students. So everyone get the fair share. So I had to work hand in hand with the local politician or other stakeholders as well. So, in achieving the success of the programs, we need all the stakeholders to play their role. So we can't really do things on our own. Just like African proverb, if you are familiar, it takes a village to raise a child. So everyone plays a role. So then again, going back to just now, you were mentioning about the dynamic of a teacher. Okay, let's say, yeah, I totally agree, saying that if you have the best IT in the whole wide world, but if you don't have a willing heart, I mean, I mean, are you, are you sure that whatever that you are doing is going to be a success? Success stories normally they don't come that easily. For me, for example, people were skeptical. They were skeptical whether this could work. But over the years, okay, going through all the hurdles, all the hiccups and whatnot, and then you have to overcome all the shortcomings, okay? So you are able to see the progress. So for me, whatever that you are doing in terms of getting professional network, fostering collaboration, you have to be realistic. You have to know what you want at the end of the day. For example, like me, I put my KPI, and also I'm concerned on the return on investment in every single cent, in every energy that I put in, all the time that I put in. At the end of the day, I want to see all A's. So because of this program, 11 schools, 13 schools were involved. I managed to increase the entire Kuantan district GPMP. So in a way, I just target the increase in number of A's. So I was able to make it a success. Okay, and then again, you have to know that success does not mean that you have to have a sense of achievement. It can also be a sense of growth for the lower end students. For example, like, okay, he or she might not get A. He or she might not have all the tools that maybe other people's have. Just now, Faith, she was mentioning about how to substitute, adopt, and adapt technology. based on the things that you have at your own disposal. I think that you need to be creative, you need to be innovative, and also a willingness to change in order to be transformative. Okay, and then having said that, um, maybe share and exchange ideas with other people in the community first, within your district, then maybe cross the border, cross country, and so on. I hope that I have answered the question. I think so. And also, having said that, when you say that you use technology, I'm not saying that you have to use apps, IT, and whatnot. Maybe, like for me, I'm using different mediums. For example, I'm using YouTube, Telegram, internet radio. Maybe some of you are familiar with internet radio. At that time, during COVID-19, um, luckily, I had the chance to share my knowledge via Paya Besar FM, whereby I could reach the community at large. So they can always play back. And it did not only cater to Paya Besarians only, but also people around Malaysia. So I guess the mediums that we were using, it was free. But right now, I think maybe because more people are using the same platform. For example, like Google. Okay, now they are charging more, I think, and with very limited of time given for us to be online. So I think that's all from me. Later, I would share a short video on the initiative that I've been doing um, at community level.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Putri. So I think what you said shows your passion, in teacher facilitation as well. Just now you mentioned about the community-driven initiative. So I like what you mentioned just now, quote, it takes a village to raise a child. And right now we are talking about a world that is borderless, and every stakeholders has a part in making sure that our education system will be successful. Thanks to you and thanks to all our speakers as well as each and one of us in the education system. All right, so I think perhaps we can show some of the videos from our esteemed speakers. Perhaps we can show a video from Miss Faith and then followed by Miss Putri. Okay, so we're going to play the video right now. So you can see like some of the initiative and efforts that has been conducted by our esteemed speakers. Okay. All right, so
communication, collaborations, creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, community and citizenship, and finally, compassion and character building.
Wow. Okay, so you can see such amazing, achievement and initiative that's been conducted by both our speakers today. One hailing from Sarawak and another one from Kuantan. So I think this shows that when it comes to leveraging support and facilitation, there's no boundary when it comes to demography, and I think this is something that we hope that our esteemed speaker can impart to our audience for today, right? So now we are going to ask a crucial question, I reckon, because when we talk about, the current trends, the mega trend, I would say, when it talks about the artificial intelligence and data analytics, this is something which I think all teachers, the SIC Plus, as well as the school leaders are very concerned with. So I would like to pose a question to both of our esteemed speakers. How can artificial intelligence or AI and data analytics be optimized for personalized feedback and coaching to ESL teachers? Maybe Miss Faith, you would like to start first?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lin. Um, I think people have been talking about AI like excessively nowadays because this is a big trend, like you said. Now, I think also there is a thing that is very important for us as educators to uh, we have to we have to understand that what is AI actually,
Mm-mm.
AI has been in existence for quite some time. It's not
Yeah.
just recently, then it's suddenly. It's just that recently, artificial intelligence has been applied into many different kinds of applications. So
Mm-mm.
that's why suddenly people are talking about AI. But AI is actually, generally speaking, it is a massive calculation method, meaning to say it can process a lot mega data for us, you see. So, like, I think Putri can agree with me that we coaches, when we work with teachers, we go into coaching, we cannot run away from working with data. So AI is something that it assists us, especially in education, in the field of education, and because it can help us to process massive data. And one of the very important features of AI nowadays is the adaptive learning. Adaptive learning, meaning to say, based on, I'm not sure how many of the teachers here you have sat for aptis before. If you can remember, like many years ago, the questions actually gets harder based on your answer. So that is a kind of adaptive learning, right? We feedback. But adaptive learning is also a good. I'm pro technology, so it's good in customized lessons and practice and also feedback. So it actually helps a person to progress. Like I have a friend who is a totally no. So she said, "Oh, AI is horrible, And ChatGPT, all my students will do is just to park the questions inside there and then they're not going to think." Now I'm an advocate of every imitation is the beginning of learning. So let's just say our students are really that poor, right? AI actually gives them something to work on to move forward. So I agree with, I mean, I welcome the idea of having AI in education. And I tease her, maybe you can do something like in your instructions, maybe you can say, uh, so the contribution of AI shouldn't be more than how many percent, but
Mm-mm.
she just brushed off. She's a totally no zero. So she will check the AI, the script against the chat GPT detector, right? And I also want to highlight that AI is not just about ChatGPT,
Yeah.
right? It's not just about ChatGPT or
Mm-mm.
Midjourney to create very nice uh, images. Like Prof. Karim, he is talking about how we can use AI to help students or teachers to learn how to write prompts. In other words, it's like how to ask the right questions to get the right answer. So that is a kind of a very high level kind of thinking. And for example, in the application of language learning, so we have like for example, I'm not sure whether you are aware that the Lima initiatives by the
Mm-mm.
MOE, yeah, so they have already leveraged on AI, right?
Mm-mm.
And two of the very important ones are the immersive reader and also the reading progress, which we roll out the training the whole nation in October last year. So that is something that we are trying to push forward this idea where the teachers can actually use this tool to help bridge the diverse needs, because we know that, for example, students in a class, when we teach readings, not all of them are progressing at the same pace, right? Or even recognizing English words. So one of the ways is that reading progress can help to overcome this problem. And also immersive reader was first developed
Yeah.
to address the needs of, like, special needs, like for example dyslexic kids. So the immersive reader actually can help them to be more focused on the individual words to read better. So these are examples of AI that we can utilize, and it can, help us to move forward. So I think that's the my opinion on this, how they can be optimized for personalized learning. You see, personalized, each and every individual's needs are being catered to. Yeah. So I think maybe Putri, you have something to say on this.
Okay,
Putri?
thank you very much, Faith. All right, I agree with you. Okay, having been a trainer for ACTIS, uh, I mean, every year I had to train. I mean, last year I had to train 400 interim teachers, and also with my Score A Bibesa, actually I have been using AI, and I agree with Faith saying that AI is not a new thing. Okay, I think Katlin, Dr. Lin would agree with me as well, because we were both part-time tutor in OUM. Remember, we had to use all the similarity checker to just detect plagiarism and whatnot. And then at that time, we had to use VLE, yeah, the platform, yeah. But nowadays, we have a lot more platform, Tatora and whatnot. For example, like in Aptis, just now, Faith mentioned about Aptis as a trainer for English. I mean, we both have a gargantuan task whereby we need to train teachers not only to be good or to be better in pedagogical aspect, but also in terms of proficiency. So when I train teachers to get C1 to achieve band 5 in EPTIS or MUET, so and also my students as well, I use if you're familiar with Flipgrid, Flipgrid for speaking. If you use the platform, it enables you to see how far your pronunciation, whether you are good in pronouncing certain words or not, your intonation, your stress level, and you are able to identify your strength and weaknesses in terms of speaking. But in terms of writing, if you're familiar with CFR text analyzer, CFR
Yeah.
tax inspector, and also Cambridge Write and Improve. Okay, so everything goes with the algorithm. I am an advocate in the use of technology, and also I'm very particular when it comes to vocabulary. So I think that using these apps and platforms enable you to see your level, your CFR level, because if you repeat the same words, it goes by the algorithm, you see. So it will detect your weakness and your weakness and also your strength in certain areas. Like for example, like writing. Okay, if you have problems with grammar, or you don't include cohesive devices, then at the end of the day you are marked. Then you will be able to see that, okay, I should have included these words, I should have included these cohesive devices. Then you redo the same task, then you'll be able to see the desired result later on. And for example, just now, Faith mentioned getting the feedback, for example. Yeah, I would use that as, when I train my teachers, I love to train them to be autonomous learners. Okay, because we can't be holding their hands. Okay, I normally use the word hand holding, right? When it comes to training teachers and students, there are two terms that I normally use hand in hand. The first one is partnership, the other one is hand holding. So in terms of formative assessment in PBD, pentaksiran dalam bilik darjah as well. So we need to see the both extremities, the good ones and the lower end students, and also teachers who are not IT savvy, for example. So sometimes we need to tailor make the training to cater to the different needs of teachers and students. So having said that, you need to be aware of their learning pace. Not everyone is fast learners. So we need to have different types of platforms and apps that use AI and also all these algorithm that enable us to gauge feedback from teachers and learners, so that we are able to get the desired results, or maybe to just achieve the objectives and the goals what we want to achieve at the end of the day. Because sometimes when I go to school, they come up with a lot of programs, a lot of activities using technology, but at the end of the day, they did not really get the desired results, or maybe it does not suit the students or the teachers' needs. So, like doing the training, maybe Faith, you would agree with me. We normally come up with TNA first, training needs analysis. Then only we suggest what kind of platform or data. I mean, data and AI. They, I mean, they have to. I mean, you have to match, or else there will be a mismatch between the two. Okay. If you're familiar with immersive reading last year, okay, last year we were told to use that immersive reading. I think one of the trainers was Dr. Lin. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure what is the current standing right now, but that was one of the best programs ever. I really hope that the students benefit from there as well. Okay, I think that's all from me.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Putri, for sharing your, your view on this matter. So I think relating to what you mentioned, I think this is something to do very well knitted with marketability of our of our students, because when we talk about technology, when we talk about supporting our teachers, we are actually preparing for the generation of future workers, all
Mm-mm.
right, to be future ready workers. So the question for you, Miss Putri, so how can the coaching of teachers in utilizing EdTech lead to the development of students with enhanced marketability for modern workforce? Your view, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lin. Just now, Faith mentioned about ChatGPT. Um, I always tell my students and teachers, okay, especially Form 6 teachers, if you're watching this, because I know that Form 6 teachers, they teach students how to use ChatGPT. So I think that is something good. But what can be done to be part of ChatGPT is another level of scenario. For example, if you Google your name, are you able to search your own work or your performance? Because when we talk about marketability in the future, the next trend is that 2023, we are not talking about the 6Cs. Just now, if you can see from my video, the project that we were doing and we are doing right now for the third year, we concentrated on the 6Cs, not the 4Cs. But now there would be another two skills which are important in 2023. There would be influencing skill and also negotiation skills. So these two are dominant in the workplace. I was able to meet Tan Sri Daud Bakar and also the corporate world. I mean, they mentioned that it is quite disheartening to see that our classroom has not changed so much over the years. So where is the role of technology in our classroom? So I mean, being an educator, I was blaming myself because not putting much effort to change the scenario of our classroom today. And because of that, I think it also leads to um, I mean, producing traditional students, conventional students, or maybe just ordinary students who are not marketable enough. And when they were mentioning about ChatGPT, okay, they mentioned saying that nowadays we don't need curricula vitae or resume are prepared by the candidates. Now they just search your name via ChatGPT and Google. If they are able to find your information, that would be one of the key points. Another point is that they just generate your name there, and it enables us to see or encrypt data based on your keen and interest based on your social media account. For example, like me, when I search my name over ChatGPT, ChatGPT, I was able to find uh, how ChatGPT view me as an influencer. Okay, because I had 15K followers via my Instagram, and then what kind of posting that I normally share, and then there are a lot of other things that you are able to do that. So right now, I think that is our role as a teacher, to be innovative and creative and one step ahead, not from the current trend, but to see what is going to happen in 2023, 2020, 2030, for example. So in the future, we are not really depending or relying on papers anymore. Just like marking. When I went to schools, okay, I normally challenge teachers, why should you mark? Why should you bring back papers to to your house? It is quite bulky, and then why are you struggling marking right like that? So whereas you can just resort using platforms and also apps to check your students' progress, especially when it comes to writing. The same thing goes to when it comes to generating your resume. Okay, in the future, we don't use template from Canva to generate our own resume. Just maybe from ChatGPT itself, you're able to see what other people's view you as a candidate. Are you marketable enough? Are you a winnable candidate? Or maybe you might be the ones who are going to be put in the trash. Okay, in Malay we just say that ditong sampahkan. All right, and then I think that is our role, to expose the students with the latest trend in technology. Now we are talking about VUCA world, so we ourselves, we need to keep abreast with the latest development of technology. If we ourselves are not ready, what can you expect from our students? Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for not imparting the correct knowledge and also um, information. Um, what do you think, Faith?
Oh, um, I think in the process of coaching teachers to adopt and utilize EdTech, it actually helps, like because I advocate for self-directed learning. If we are
Mm-hmm.
familiar with the IR 4.0, the movement
Okay.
now, Web 4.0 and Edu 4.0
Mm-hmm.
talks about personalizing every experience, including learning. And it advocates for lifelong process of
Yeah.
learning. So when you want to do lifelong learning, you must be self-directed.
Mm.
Like Putri mentioned earlier on, like you must have a willing heart or something, motivation, self motivations to move on, right? Educational technology is like this. If, like I mentioned, there are thousands of apps, technologies that are renewing every day. And if we don't have that kind of self-directed learning in
Yeah.
ourselves, self-paced instructions, taking ownership of our own learning, then I don't think we can go very far.
Yeah.
And self-directed learning is one of the very valued traits in the workforce, because it's only through self-directed learning and a self-paced learning that we can grow, we can
Mm-mm.
continue to be innovative, and we continue to push the organizations ahead. So if we are static, like we said, that would, so it's like 20 years you use the same thing, 20 years your mindset are the same, then if I'm a employer, I don't think I want to hire this kind of employee. Not don't talk about in the future, even now, right? So I think if we can coach teachers in understanding why we need to embrace EdTech integration,
Mm-mm.
so that itself can promote. I mean, that's why in my video clip we have this enculturation, because I always believe that it is only through enculturations that we can sustain whatever things that we are doing. And also with this integration, when teachers are embracing all these things, they can prepare the students for automation, like what Putri mentioned. And also it allows them to customize real world learning.
Yeah.
I just uh, I think I have a certain disagreement with Putri there, because Putri is an
It's okay.
influencer. She is an influencer. She has got like large followings on the social media. So when she type her name, AI will pick her
Yeah.
up. But it doesn't happen to everyone,
Yeah.
because we are commoners. We are not like Putri. so
No.
sometimes when you search in the AI, you might not get any views on yourself. You see, but then don't be disheartened. Then after this,
It's okay.
everyone's trying to
Yeah.
trying to get followers and followings like the leads. But you see, even with resumes and curriculum vitae, you need to have your CV. You need to have something there. You
Yeah.
need to have your skills. You need to
Mm.
have your hard skills, soft
Yeah.
skills, like what Putri said, like negotiation skills. I really agree with that. It's not just communication. When you talk about communication, it's not just communication nowadays. There is delegation, all right? There is
Mm-hmm.
negotiations. So these are persuasion. So these are very much sought after oracy skills uh, in the workplace nowadays. We don't just want people who can talk, but
Mm-mm.
we want people who can talk with a meaningful content, and we want people who can carry across the message uh, meaningfully, right? And also, uh, when we coach the teachers to embrace utilizing the educational technology, we also, in a way, indirectly, we develop the digital literacy and the
Yeah.
tech skills. You
Mm-mm.
see how many people are being scammed every day. It's
Yeah.
not because they don't know. You see, the news are there every day, but people are still being scammed. You see, it's
Mm-mm.
because of the digital literacy, maybe the basic security skills that we are lack of, right? So when teachers, they can integrate technology seamlessly, so it kinds of, like how teachers are models to the students. When the students observe the teachers, oh, my teachers can do this, so it kinds of like build the students proficiency with the
Mm.
digital tools. We must not forget, nowadays the students might have even more advanced
Yeah.
technological skills compared to us, the older generations. But what I'm trying to say is that the teachers, when they embrace EdTech, they don't limit their students, right?
Yeah.
They can promote creativity,
Okay.
critical thinking, like what Putri mentioned, and then the teachers can build these global mindsets among their students, like you mentioned about. I know of at least two schools. They have
Mm-hmm.
been doing these annual collaborations with schools
Mm-hmm.
from Korea or Japan, annually, and then the students go and tell the juniors, if you want, you need to, next year you have to, do this, you have to communicate, you have to do video conference with the students from Japan or Korea. So the junior students, they would want to learn, like they
Mm.
will want to learn how to use these technological tools. So I'm sure, like I always say that the MCO lockdown is a silver lining, because I think nowadays, I mean, after the MCO, I don't think there's any teacher that can tell me that they don't know how to do video conferencing.
Yeah.
I think every teacher knows how to do video conferencing. If you ask them Google Classroom, I think most of the teachers, they know as well. But of
Yeah.
course, there are more tools to it, but maybe there is a first step. You see, the most important thing is get people onto the first step. So I think if we can coach teachers to see from this perspective,
Yeah.
then that is something that I think that is very great, something great in the future. Like like if you have been following us this far, you will know that what Putri and me, when we coaches are talking about coaching, it is never a short term thing.
Yeah.
It is always long. It is always long. Like years. We are talking about years. We're talking about months to create the kind of culture, to create the kind of mindset, the change, the transformation. You can't do it quick, right? So I think that's from me. Over to you, Dr. Lee.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Faith. I think one of the uh, key takeaway from what you mentioned, I like about to harness that enthusiasm, the
Mm.
mindset to build the positive,
Yeah.
mindset, the one with the gung ho and wanting to do the best, for the sake of our students as well as for the nation at large. So I would like to ask a question because when we talk about to enhancing the mindset of our teachers, I would like you to draw from your own experience, right? So how do you motivate all these teachers to use EdTech in their lessons? Putri?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lin. I think Dr. Lin was there with me in 2011 when I decided to withdraw myself from presenting at Melta conference in Terengganu. Can you recall, Dr. Lin, when we were in Primula?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I always tell this story to my teachers. I mean, I've got complaints from parents. Yeah, at that time I was into using education, technology, entertainment, and also empower students to become autonomous learners through the use of dictionary. So I came up with a mini project on my own. Because it is part of HSP, Huraian Sukatan Pelajaran, at that time, it was mandatory for us to teach students how to use dictionary, where to get the meanings, and then the part of speech and whatnot. So I decided to present, but a day before the presentation, I was called to the principal office saying that, okay, there's a complaint made by the parents saying that I did not teach according to exam format. At that time, I was teaching Form 2, Form 3 students, okay? And then I broke down and cried in front of Dr. Fazlin at that time, if you can recall, back in Primula 2011. And then luckily I had this language officer, Miss Chandra. She pat my back and saying that no, you have come this far. Your proposal was accepted, and you are about to present during your workshop. I mean, for a 1 hour workshop. So Kak Lin, I mean, Dr. Lin was helping me. I could remember because we happened to present right after one another, the same room. And I was surprised to see a very large crowd entering my room. Yeah, and also they were queuing to get my materials at that time. And then I wasn't aware that I was being judged and I was being shortlisted for the award, the best presenter award that day. And then I've got a lot of feedback, positive feedback from um, attendees, from other countries, for example, UK at that time, from India, China as well. And then just to cut it short, I've got the award, the Best Presenter Award. You can see, on Melta website, yeah, Basil
The
Wijaya
blueprint.
Surya Award. Yeah, I think Dr. Lin has got it twice or thrice. Okay, I can still
The
recall.
onus is on me. The limelight is
Yeah.
on me.
No, okay. And then I always tell the teachers saying that, okay, in order to become creative and innovative, you shouldn't be afraid to try new things, new ideas. Of course, people resist changes. People don't want to transform themselves. But at the end of the day, you get a lot of positive feedback from those who really appreciate and value your work. Same thing goes to what you are doing right now. Maybe Faith, I think it was not a smooth sailing journey. I mean, both of us have been an SIC plus for 9 years already. Initially, we had to really become tough, and then there were days whereby we went home crying, and then we were so heartbroken. People did not want to listen to our new ideas. We had to sell and exchange ideas. So, for me, when I motivate my teachers, I always say that always believe in whatever you are doing, even though the odds are against you. I always tell that because there would be people who really appreciate with what you are doing, and don't ever think about the kind of rewards that you get, because normally, slowly, people will realize that you have done something for the community. That's all I think.
All right. Yes, Faith?
I think I didn't go through the period of crying and all because I was
Oh.
on study leave. Lucky me. Anyway, I think one of the things how I motivate or how I persuade, I would say motivate. I
Mm-mm.
think I use a lot of persuasions, and
Okay.
how do I persuade teachers to come join me, come on board?
Mm-mm.
Is this method. I always use this method. Today I'm sharing the trade secret, right? So it is summarized into one question: what's in it for me? So
Mm.
I always try to persuade the teachers from their perspective. So
Mm.
what is it? What's in it for them? It's not for
Mm.
me. So I
Mm.
always share in that manner. So for example, it like you say, it's not easy, but in coaching, what we did was we emphasize. We emphasize. Of course, it's not just me. I managed to persuade my other colleagues across units to come together as a team, and we show the teacher, we show that there's the series of workshops that I showed just now. We show the teachers how it can be done. So
Mm.
what during the workshops we actually make the teachers our students, and then we try to, okay, you see, this is how I do it. Do you understand? Do you feel it is more engaging? Do you think it is more
Mm.
meaningful? So this makes the teacher realize that, oh yeah, I can do that as well.
Mm.
So that is the thing that we persuade the teachers.
Mhm.
And also we emphasize how their job can be made easier.
Mm.
It's very funny that sometimes when I say that actually I want to introduce to you a simpler way to streamline your work, the first reaction is no. I say, I want to make your job easier. Then okay. Because it's more like a reflect action, it's like a knee-jerk action sometimes.
Mm.
But we just have to show them that it actually helps them to reach all their learners. Like for example, teachers, whenever I conducted workshops or trainings, teachers like to ask me questions. Miss, I have this student, how I have this student, how or I have these two students, how so I said, so I will always tell them, so we if it is human, it is impossible. But if it is with technology, it is possible. So this is how I show them that how EdTech can provide differentiated instructions. For example, the adaptive software that I mentioned
Mm.
just now, and also like I also highlight the opportunities for them to help the students to be creative. Like sometimes they are run out
Mm.
of ideas. Then of course, teachers, we cannot be always at this high our
Yeah.
motivation level. That's not realistic. So we will have our downs. But
Yeah.
when we are down or we are running out of ideas, one of the way, of course, is through PLC. Like we talk to a
Mm.
colleague, and then we get our energy back. But we can't really do it all the time. There are times that we don't. We are just alone. So we can still teach the teachers that actually you can leverage on the technology, and you can actually get the kind of opportunities. Like
Mm.
the technology can tell you what are the opportunities that you can have in fostering the creativity of your students. And also, I think another very, very important thing that we do in coaching is we provide continuous support. This one I want to quote my ketua unit, Mr. Jamali. So he always liked to use this example. He said, he goes and see this expert, like the specialist. So he always like to use this example. So when I go from Dr. A to Dr. B, the Dr. B can just look at my portfolio and then they know what to do with me. So he stresses on continuous support, and this is what we do. So we have a continuous support for our teachers in the coaching districts. So we invest time. It's really not easy because you know how crazy our work schedule is,
Yeah.
and then we have to squeeze time to train teachers to address their issues. We help them to troubleshoot. We share. We create platforms for them to share their best practice. You know, like for example, upcoming in November, we are doing a colloquium for all
Mm.
the language teachers in Kuching district. So I
Wow.
think these are the efforts that makes us how do I say, convince the teachers that
Mm.
we are actually there for them. And that's how they feel that, oh, okay, miss, okay, since you say so much lah, they give me face. Okay, so they will do something. We manage to persuade them and they will try to use it. Not all, but I want to highlight that it's always when we are starting with some initiative, like Putri said, we will not we will not get everyone. We will not
Yeah.
never get 100% on
Yeah.
board. But don't be disheartened, like what you say.
Yeah.
See, that is true. We don't be disheartened. We just continue with our work. People will notice our effort and initiatives, and they will appreciate because I always believe that it's nawaitu.
Yeah.
Your nawaitu is sincere. People will know what you have in mind. So I think that's my response to this question. Over to you, Dr. Lin.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Putri and Faith. Wow, I think there's a lot of, wonderful insights from what you have just shared, especially when it comes to, motivating our teachers as
Mm.
well as the students when it comes to, when it comes to using or optimizing EdTech in their teaching and learning. So I like when you mentioned about it's all about starting somewhere, right? It's all about attitude, it's about starting somewhere. And this is in line with what Confucius used to say that a 10,000 miles journey always start with a single step. It's all about
Yeah.
beginning, the effort. And we are so glad we have SIC Plus like both of you who are always eager, and eager to sustain the teacher's motivation as well as, their knowledge, impart knowledge and their skills when it comes to teaching and learning in English language. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we have come to the end of our forum for today. So, in conclusion, I could say that our forum on unveiling the best practices for the ESL teacher facilitation has successfully identified, I would say, four main aspects. I could identify personalization because it's all about personalization, personalizing your coaching, facilitation, and I think this is being vividly and effectively mentioned by both Faith and Putri Azira earlier. The second one is about collaboration because, as
Yeah.
you mentioned just now, Putri, it takes a village to raise a child, and we talk about to harness that motivation, enthusiasm in teachers. We also need to collaborate with each other, with the teachers collaborating with SIC Plus as well as the community and the school leaders. And the third one that I could pick from both of your sharing is about professionalism. When
Mm.
we talk about teachers, when we talk about SIC Plus, when we talk about principal as well as the leaders who are in the Ministry of Education, attaining professionalism in how we conduct our work whenever we receive any feedback, and there's always room for improvement. And I think this is very important when it comes to facilitation, right? And last but not least, I like how you mentioned it's all about
Yeah.
empathy, knowing how to reach to these teachers, knowing that okay, you talk about support, persuasion, and I think knowing how to get to all this is to all these the stakeholders are very very important. And I like how both of you have highlighted through your experiences, all these anecdotes. Those are actually very very teachers as well as any other audience that are listening with us right now. So, on behalf of ELTC, we would like to thank all the esteemed speakers, both Faith and Putri Azira, for imparting your knowledge and sharing your experience. But thank you so much. All right. So I hope
Thank
that we can
Welcome.
you.
carry the view. Yeah, you can carry the view and the insight gained during this session, and we can continue to work together towards the future of the English language teaching in Malaysia. Thank you so much to the audience, and we hope that you will catch the other web series or webinars and forums that ELTC will organize in the future. Thank you so much to both our speakers as well to the audience. Thank you so much and good day.
Thank you, Dr. Lin. Thank you.
Thank you.